Hello everyone, my name is Welch and welcome to the Down and Out Blading YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video and I received this package in the mail this week from Canada. This has a pair of frames in it and as you can guess, yes, they are Wizard frames. And Wizard frames are something that I've wanted for a really long time. I've always admired Leon and the mushroom blading guys and the things they've done, and it's gotten really popular. You know, with the Big Wheel Blading Instagram, I see so many people on Wizard frames now. And Dumb Skates just released the Brain Dead Wizard collaboration, which is a skate I really wanted. I just couldn't afford it. It was super expensive. So I decided just to get a pair of frames, and I got the PR80s. And I've never actually held Wizard frames in my hands, so this will be really exciting. So join me as I open this. I'm going to actually set it up with some new wheels I got and put it on a boot that should also be pretty exciting to try them out on. So here we go. I'm gonna have to break this open. Oh, and these are packed really well. Look at that. They're actually sealed in plastic. And then they have the hardware right there. So got two frames. And like I mentioned, these are the PR80s. And these are progressive rocker frames. So they do have a bit of a curve on the bottom. Also received some stickers, which are really cool. All right, let's break into the first frame. These are probably the best packaged frames I've seen. I've not really had any metal frames myself, but maybe they all come like this, but these are definitely carefully packaged. And this is the Wizard PR80. Beautiful frame. These are made in Canada. This is the new frame that they have. Before they were made in the USA. And Leon is really excited that he was able to make these in Canada now. And this is one of 80 frames. It was made on November 29th, 2021. So they dated. It's pretty cool, very collectible, super awesome. So if I look at the frame, I can tell this back end is actually higher than the front end. So there's a significant difference of height here versus here. I'm not sure what it is, but I will definitely test these out and let you know. But so I've got the frame. Let's open up the other one. Man, these are probably the prettiest frames I've ever owned, I'm gonna say. And these aren't cheap. They're like $400 frames. So we always called these frames the working man's frame, and most people skate these, you know, in the wizard skating, skate them on the SEBA boot because a lot of, you know, these high wheelbase frames do flex on a lot of skates. So the SEBA skate is proven to be really good. I'm actually going to try these on a different boot, but wheel-wise, you need 10 wheels. So, you know, usually they sell wheels in sets of 8, sets of 4. So you're going to have to buy some extra wheels just to be able to do the setup. Or if you can find a place that sells single wheels, which probably exists today. And then you're gonna need bearings. So what I got a bag of bearings, compliments of Rollerblade. These are AG10 bearings and spacers. And Rollerblade was also kind enough to hook me up with 10 sets of the Hydrogen Spectre wheels. And these are the new hydrogen wheels, the Spectre line, and these are very good wheels. Hydrogen wheels are known to be really good. And these wheels are coming out in multiple colors. I know they have like a salmon, a lavender. I looked at them yesterday and they're pretty cool, and I'll try to flash some of the different colors on the screen for you to check out right now. I've got 10 of these wheels. Oh boy, this is gonna be exciting. And just so you know how to mount the frames on your skates, they do say front right here. You can see that, that says front. It says Wizard PR80 here. And it says limited release information on the side right there. And it's gonna look like this. Nice white wheels on these frames. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what boots I'm going to try these on, and the boots I've chosen to set up for the Wizard skates is the Iqon AG10. And this is the carbon Iqon aggressive boot. It's got the UFS frame. Wizard frames are UFS. Now, there's several companies that make Wizard style frames available in 164 mount and Trinity mount. Those brands like Endless and NN. So there's options out there, but this is the original frame made by the Wizard himself, Leon Basin. And yeah, these are gonna be sick. I'm gonna put these together right now, and we'll see what they look like set up. And then I'll be skating them this week during the 4th annual Vermont Blading Camp that I host every year here in beautiful Vermont. So I'm really curious if this is gonna flex. You know, you never know how things work. It's kind of, it doesn't fit too solid on the here. And there's definitely, with the Iqon sole plate, there's a gap in between the walls and the Wizard frame. And also the Wizard frame UFS circles, you know, they're round, and here they're not quite round. It's round on this one, but not on this one. So it's a little wiggly, but I'm sure that'll be fine. That's how we're gonna have it. All right, look at that. That looks really cool. That's gonna be so fun. Man, I'm so excited. All these videos people are doing on these are rad, and I'm sure I'm gonna totally suck at wizard skating, but I have a lot of parking lots and tennis courts around here and not a whole lot of other stuff to skate, so I have plenty of time and opportunity to get good at these. So we'll follow my journey trying to be a wizard on a wizard setup. And I'm going to try different boots too. I don't have a lot of boots that I think would work for this. I've never had a SEBA or an FR. I'd like to try them. If possible, maybe I can get my hands on some to try with the wizard frames and some of the other frames like these. I got something else recently, which I'm actually going to do another video on, but we'll use it right now, which this is a Bont bearing press, and this is like a dream. This puts bearings and wheels up to 125 millimeters, and it removes the bearings as well, and it's not really too hard to put bearings on these plastic or urethane plastic core wheels. It is on the metal core wheels. So I bought these actually for the Iqon metal core wheels I have because they're really hard to put bearings in. But let's try it out here. So we got so many bearings. So we put our bearing in, we put our wheel in. So these bearings have the plastic shields on the inside, so you want to make sure that those stay on the inside. And then we put our spacer in, and then we grab our other bearing and drop it down, push it in, boom. That was so easy. So I'm gonna have a link to this Bont press in the description below so you can order it off Amazon and get one for yourself. I highly recommend these. You saw how easy that was. And I'll have links to the hydrogen wheels, the wizard frames, and the Iqon skates all below so you can check them out if you want to get them for yourself. Support Leon with these frames. You know, Rollerblade makes really good wheels, and like I said, they're different color options. And the Iqon skates are just the Ferrari of boots right now. So, and I did skate these wheels in Boston. I was up in Boston, or down in Boston, I should say, about a month and a half ago. Did a bunch of urban skating and skated these wheels on my USD neck skates, my Arctic Ray neck skates. It was the first time I skated 4x80 in maybe 20 years. Like, since big wheel blading started, I've only been really on 3x110, 3x125, 3x100. Not really any 4-wheel setups. So that was my first time riding a 4-wheel setup in a long time. I actually like it. I have that setup now for my urban skate. And this will be my 5-wheel setup. And I do have one more 5-wheel setup, which is actually a downhill setup. And that's a pretty cool setup. And that's on a Flying Eagle boot. So I will do a video on that some other time. There's actually a downhill event happening in Vermont next month that Gabe Holm will be competing in. So I'll see if I can make it to that and possibly do a video. Bearing press is absolutely phenomenal. Everyone should own a bearing press. Remember, they used to have these at the roller rink, and I'm like, oh, those are kind of silly, but no. These are absolutely incredible. They run you about, I think about 50 or 60 bucks, but, you know, this is your first step in opening a skate shop. Just get the bearing press, and you're going to want to do this all day because it's actually pretty fun. Whoever invented this thing needs a pat on the back because that's pretty impressive. And Bont, if you're not familiar with Bont, Bont is an Australian company. They are big in quad skating world for racing, the inline speed skating world as well. Derby, they make, you know, all sorts of different types of roller skates. So definitely a cool brand. I don't think they make any rec skates or anything. They may have in the past, like a lot of companies did, but unaware of rec skates from Bont. But they do have these pretty amazing bearing presses. Let's see if my friend Miles, who works at Rollerblade, put this little package together with the bearings and the wheels. And he looks like he did a perfect job. He actually gave me extra bearing spacers, which you can never have too many bearing spacers. And I think it's kind of funny, like, I've known people who've thrown the bearing spacers away because they didn't realize that they're useful, which is just crazy to me. And when I was at I actually went to Rollerblade office yesterday, and they said people do that with the luminous wheels. The luminous wheels, you have to have the spacer for them to work, and people just rip them out and replace them with these, and then you've basically broken your wheel. So, all right, done. Look at that. I'm not sure if the frame bolts that came with the Iqons are going to work with this because they do set out kind of high. We had this issue with the Kaiser frames that the wheels would rub. So I'm going to see if I can actually use these frame bolts. So let's just test out over the frame bolt areas first. That spins okay. Let's try the back one. That spins okay. The frame bolts should work. Let's just double check. Let's get the bolt in. No, actually, it doesn't. So my front one's not turning. The back one is, and as I mentioned earlier, there is a big height difference between the front and the back. So just the back, it's a lot higher off, so we're actually able to get the spin. It's not rubbing on that frame bolt, but because this front's lower, it is rubbing on the frame bolt. So that is not going to work. So I'm going to have to take these frame bolts back out. So if you're using these Iqon boots, or probably any boot, go ahead and remove the frame bolts that they came with and use the ones that came with your Wizard frames. That's probably a good rule with any frames you get. Just use all their hardware. Now it looks like both the spacers and the bolts that came on the Iqons are thicker. So if you take a look at this, the bolt that came with Iqon, the head's more flat around the sides, and it's got a pretty thick washer. The bolt that came with the Wizard frames, and the washer's about half as thick, and the bolts are rounded, so you get wheel clearance easier. So this should definitely work with the wheels. Another thing I noticed on these frames is, so obviously you've got the recessed area for the UFS, but on the inside, it's also recessed for the washers to fit in perfectly, which gives you a little bit more clearance for the wheels, which is a nice detail. The frame bolts are a little bit shorter on the Wizard bolts, but they fit really well. It feels really solid. I know a big issue with some of the UFS boots is that there's some flex. There's no flex on this. This is solid. Feels really good. So let's see. Usually I like to have, the frame graphics on the outside, same with the wheels. These frames aren't necessarily symmetric. The frames are exactly the same, so it's going to have PR80 Wizard on the outside of my right boot, and on the outside of my left boot, it's going to have the limited edition made in Canada information. So, but I will do the wheels on the outside, the wheel graphics. And of course, once they start getting worn and stuff, you can switch that out. But I always like the graphics on wheels, especially the wheels we did when we did 4x4. So much cool wheel art, even though they're a lot harder to see on those smaller wheels. So nice thing about these 80 millimeters is you can see the graphics better. And these are those Hydrogen Spectre wheels, which is a new wheel from them, and they are very good. All right, so I put that wheel that wouldn't spin earlier. It spins now, totally good. I'm really excited about this frame setup. I mean, it's so cool. I do have some things in the works coming up in the future, which will include an 80 millimeter wheel. So I will keep you posted on all those happenings. A lot of other exciting things happening here in the future. There we go. We've got a complete setup, and I am beyond excited. Wow, these came together really good. I haven't seen this setup yet, and I'm really stoked. I mean, it's like a work of art. So cool. The Iqon Carbon Boot looks really good on these. And then, obviously, I've got the Wizard PR80 frame, progressive rocker, bit of tilt. It doesn't sit flat. You can do lots of swivel moves. And then I got the Hydrogen Spectre 80 millimeter wheels, available in many colors. And I have links to Iqon, Wizard, and Hydrogen Rollerblade wheels in the description below. And I have a link to the Bomb Bearing Press, because this thing is a must-have for any skater, especially if you're getting into metalcore bearings. But this is a life changer. So, link to this in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure and hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. I have links to my social media in the description below. I have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And on Instagram, I've been updating it a bunch every day with reels from my old days of filming. So lots of pro skaters skating in the past 20 years, lots of clips. I also have those clips in vault episodes, but it's not all the same. So there's some really fresh, cool clips on the Instagram page. So make sure to subscribe to that. And if you do enjoy this channel and you like what I'm doing, consider becoming a Patreon member. I have exclusive video content for members on the Patreon page. I have a link in the description below to that, and I have a link to a PayPal donation page if you want to support the channel that way. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I will have many more videos on these Wizard frames here in the future. Take care, goodbye, and I'll see you next time on the Done Now Baiting YouTube channel.